Hello, this is Mr. Stansbury. I'm going to take you through the notes on circles, arcs, and sectors. At the end of this, you should be able to say, I can use information about circles, arcs, and sectors to solve various problems. Okay, so first off, circles. For a circle with radius r, the circumference is 2 times pi times the radius. The area is pi times the radius squared. Okay, hopefully those sound familiar at least. An arc is a part of a circle which joins any two different points. So here's a circle, and then this red section here is the arc. It can be measured using the angle of theta, which is theta is what we normally use for an unknown angle measure, subtended by the points at the center. So the subtended angle is always this angle here from the beginning to the end of the arc. Okay? The arc length is going to be the angle measure of the circle divided by 360 times 2 pi r. So if you'll notice, that's basically the circumference. That would be the whole circle. So if it was the whole circle, it would be 360 over 360, which is 1 times 2 pi r. So that's just the circumference. We're basically just finding the fraction of the circle that we're actually looking for. Okay, so that's how you calculate the arc length. A sector is a region between two radii of a circle and their arc between them. So the sector is the area in between here. So that's all the purple. Okay, so the perimeter of the sector would be both radii, plus the arc length. So that's this, notice here, that's the arc length, and then here's the 2r, so that would be the perimeter. And then the area of the sector is simply pi r squared, and then the fraction of the circle that we're looking for, that's going to be your angle divided by 360. Okay, so let's put some of these here into use. Example 1, for the given figure, find to 3 significant figures the length of the arc. Okay, so we're going to look for this length of the arc here. So here's our formula. So arc length is the AL right there. So we're going to do A arc length is going to be our angle subtended. So our angle here between the 2 points. So that's our 37 divided by 360. And then it's going to be times the circumference of that whole circle, which would be 2 times pi times our radius, which we know is 12. Okay, so now we're just going to go through and calculate that out and see what we get. So 37 divided by 360. This tells us that this is like 10.277% of an entire circle. So it's only about a tenth of a circle. Okay, so we take that and then we're going to multiply that by 2 times pi times 12. And this gives us the arc length, which is 7.749, so we'll call it 7.75. Arc length 7.75, and this is all in centimeters. Okay, so that is part A. Part B, the perimeter of the sector. So that's just going to be the arc length plus these two radii. So let's do part B. We've got the arc length is 7.75 plus that's 12. This is also 12 because these are both radii, the same measure there. So plus 12 is going to equal, so let's see, it's basically 24 plus our 7.75, right? So that's going to be what, 31.75, and that's going to be centimeters. Okay, and then part C, the area of the sector. So our area formula, area is going to equal the angle measure, so that's our 37 divided by 360 times pi times the radius squared. Okay, so again, just put all that stuff in and away we go. 37 divided by 360 times pi times 12 squared should give us the area of our of that sector there. So 46.5 we're going to call it. So the area is 46.5, and this is centimeters squared since we're talking about area. Okay? All right. Let's take a quick little comedy break here before we jump into our last example.
Hey, instead of enjoying this moment, let's take pictures. We take pictures of everyday life and act like we're capturing history. Unbelievable, the cat's asleep. Post that on my Twitter. It's because we have the cameras on our phones. Do we need that? It's not like 10 years ago we were like, I wish I could take a low-quality photo of my dessert. Text it to someone that's not interested. But I can't, so I guess I'll just eat it.
Okay, last example here. A windshield wiper blade is 20 inches long. Its wiping pattern is shown. What area does the windshield wiper cover? Okay, so we're looking for this area in here, right? So it basically has got a 5 inches here where it doesn't cover, and then it has a wiper blade length of 20 inches here. So let's do this. What we really need to do to figure out this area here is really, it's the area of the whole thing here, right? Minus the area of the little wiper blade area here that it doesn't cover. Okay, so let's find the area of this wiper blade and then subtract off the little area that it doesn't hit, and that would be our total area. So area of the whole thing is 5 plus 20. That's our radius, right? So let's see, let's go back to the beginning here. Our angle measure is 90 over 360. Times pi, and then again our radius of our whole thing is going to be 25 squared, right? So we're going to take that, and then we're going to subtract the area of this little piece right here, right? Which is still 90 over 360 times pi, but now the radius of this is just 5 squared. Okay, so let's calculate those two things out, and then we will subtract them, and that will be the area of that blue piece over there, right? So we do 90 divided by 360, which hopefully you saw is a quarter of a circle, okay? Multiply that by pi, and then also multiply it by 25 squared, and that gives us 490.9, we'll call it. 490.9, and that's square inches. Right, and then we're going to subtract our other area, which is all this same information here, except for instead of 25 squared, we're going to just do 5 squared. Right, so we delete that, get our 5 squared. That is not right, so let's just redo it. Okay, 90 divided by 360, that's our 0.25, right? 60 times pi times 5 squared. 19.6. Oops, not centimeters, but inches. Right, and then we just subtract those two. So we take our 490.9, so 490.9 minus our answer here. And we get 471.3, it looks like. Yep, so our area is 471.3 square inches is going to be this blue wiper section there. Okay? All right, that's all there is for circles, arcs, and sectors. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask in class. Thanks.